Senator Daly, you have 8 minutes.
Thank you, Laska here. I'd like to welcome the Minister of the House, and I suppose the issue of the sale of Bord Gáis for paying back the debt is, I suppose, disturbing when you think that the valuation, depending on who's doing the valuation of the sale of the asset, is somewhere between 1 billion and 800 million. As the Minister knows, that accounts for about 4 weeks of borrowing. So it does not seem to be a wise move, and I don't want to point out to the Minister it doesn't seem to be a good move when it comes to the fact that the Bord Gáis currently contributes over 121 million to the taxpayer in dividends. I know that Fine Gael wanted to use the sale of state assets and the raising of funds from that in their 5-point plan. They talked about the 7 billion that was going to be raised was going to be creating 100,000 new jobs in the New Era programme, and they were going to create 100,000 over the 5 years in the 5-point plan, and so far we have 3,800, which is slightly short. The Labour manifesto talked about the One Ireland concept of public enterprise and determining that semi-state companies play a full role in the recovery of the Irish economy. Labour is opposed to the short-termism of privatisation of key state assets such as Caoilte or the energy networks. I think Bord Gáis probably comes under the energy network classification of the manifesto, but I think my main worry is that what we are doing here is selling an asset that is giving us a dividend, and while we are not replicating the mistakes of the sale of Telecom Éireann and Eircom by selling the infrastructure, there is no clear determination, and maybe the Minister could point that out, how the 1.9 billion in debt that is currently in Eircom is going to be shared between that part of, the 1.9 million in Bord Gáis that is currently there, how that debt is going to be divided between the part that is due to be privatised and sold off, and the infrastructure itself, which the state is going to retain. Is the state going to retain all the debt that is in the company at the moment, or is it going to be divided equally? And of course, if you attach debt to the part that is to be privatised, then obviously the amount of money that you get for it will be severely reduced, and therefore you wonder, is it worth selling it at all, considering that all we're talking about getting for the public purse is 1 month's borrowing. That's all we're talking about. 1 month. We're borrowing at 1 billion a year, and or 1 billion a month, 11 to 12 billion a calendar year, and we're selling off an asset that is producing this year 121 million, and over its lifetime nearly 1 billion since it was founded back in the 70s. So my main concern, as we've seen in other countries, is we're saying we're not going to do a fire sale. The government are not going to do a fire sale. They're talking about 1.5 billion. They're talking about 1 billion. And Davies recently raised the issue that it might actually be 800 million. And what we're looking for here is a more effective energy company. Its current investment in the renewable energy sector, as my colleague opposite, Mr. Kelly, would know, they're investing in wind farm energy. They're investing in other areas. They also have investments in the north. And what we're greatly concerned about is the lack of clarity in relation to the price, which is critical, obviously, the actual the future of the employees. Are they going to be transferred into the new company, the privatised company, on the same terms and conditions as they are currently in? And what we're also concerned about is in relation to the issue of the transfer of the debt, which is why it's being sold in the first place on a grander scale, but yet there doesn't seem to be clarity on that, Minister. And I want to point out that there are our 3 main objectives. There's too much out there that is not clear and with a bit of clarity, we might be able to further the discussions at committee stage. Thank you. That's clear.